you've not heard of that artist, his name is Girish, Girish. And he has a lot of kirtan, mantra, Sanskrit inspired music, collaborates with tons of artists. I was introduced to him at a women's retreat in Sedona many, many years ago, and it's kind of nice to change things up. We're here. Heartfelt gratitude to each of you who continue to share space, live or on the replay. And I don't say that as a passive expression of gratitude. True heart-to-heart connection as we find a few moments of calm amongst the sometimes rough seas of our day. The visual metaphor is helpful for me, as always, on Thursdays in our insight practice, to consider riding the wave of our experience. And usually in this visualization, I'm separate from the water. I'm like using this visual, visualization to just observe the condition of the water, but I don't usually or ever bring myself into the water or on top of the water. You may consider for a moment what your vessel looks like. If you're maybe a little less dense than I am, maybe this is something you've always been able to quickly visualize. It's a novel concept for me, or visualization at least. Maybe you're on a huge cruise liner all to yourself or surrounded by people, and the waves are strong or subtle, and either instance makes no difference. Wow, I'm actually just like starting to realize I'm having like a moment of insight right now. What I was going to say is that it feels like I'm in this tiny little canoe or life raft in the middle of a raging storm at the moment. But maybe that's the aspiration, is to be on this giant cruise ship surrounded by people. It doesn't matter what the changing conditions of the water are, because the size of our vessel is so big it can weather any storm. Wow. We talk about vessels a lot, and how, or at least I do, how large we can make our container for this experience. That's really cool. I don't always plan what I'm going to say, obviously. How are the seas of your experience? Are you in it? A few containers of time for our practice today. We begin, and we ride the wave of our experience, supported in community. I'll pop back in. A second to pause, a second to check in. What does it mean to be in your practice, in your life, in your vessel? I'm going to share something that I hope is not triggering for anybody listening. I once heard a teacher say that she was a conduit to share the teachings of God. And I know the word God can be uncomfortable for some. So if it's a better representation of your experience to say source or eternal energy or that which is never changing, spirit, like the application of that conduit to be in your experience fully and still be connected to your divine source. And as I was sitting in these first 10-ish minutes, a song came into my mind. I'm going to quickly read a couple of the lyrics here. Jess might know this is as a familiar song. Eyes wide open, yet no one sees. With open ears, no one's listening. All mouths are moving, still no one speaks. This to me speaks to the opposite of being in it. That song is a bit of a criticism, a social criticism of what's happening around us. Ears are open, but nobody's hearing. Eyes are open, but nobody's seeing. Mouths are moving, but nobody's speaking. It's like bypassing our experience, not in it. So we'll continue our sit if any of that is relevant. File it away as nonsense or somewhat applicable. And if you're having a completely different experience, you're on your mega yacht or your cruise liner or your dinghy with me, we'll continue in it if possible, really in it. A new responsibility fuels illumination. A time to throw the old away. Failure fuels the fire. Where there's a will, there's a way. Listen as the voice calls to you. You feel it rumbling, pulling from the inside. Eyes wide open, yet no one sees. With open ears, no one's listening. All mouths are moving, still no one speaks. In these last couple of minutes of practice, an intention for the rest of our day. How can we be in it? How can we be in this life? Eyes open and seeing, ears open and listening. When we feel called to speak, we are saying something that matters. Or as the Stoics would say, improving on the silence. We'll bring our hands to heart as we begin to close our practice. May the merits of this practice be of benefit to all sentient beings. As we embody this practice, we inevitably, I don't know, We become a beacon for everyone who is around us. That's why this practice is of benefit to all sentient beings. We show others that we can see with eyes wide open, we can hear with our open ears, and we can speak words that matter. In life. And throughout it all, we include ourselves in the circle of compassion. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful weekend.